Namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtike Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirvisesha Shanyavati Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let's continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 8. We are studying what are the 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So reading out, Yo Adhyatmiko Yam Purushaha So Asav Eva Adhidevikaha Yas Tatro Bhaya Vichedaha Purusho Hi Abhi Adhi Bhautikaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The individual person possessing different instruments of senses is called the Adhyatmic person, and the individual controlling deity of the senses is called Adhidevik. The embodiment seen on the eyeballs is called the Adhibhautik person. The individual person possessing different instruments of senses is called the Adhyatmic person, and the individual controlling deity of the senses is called Adhidevik. The embodiment seen on the eyeballs is called the Adhibhautik person. The supreme controlling Samambonam is the personality of Godhead in his plenary portion of Paramatma or the supersoul manifestation. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.42 it is said. So Sri Krishna is Bhagwan and his plenary portion is Paramatma. His expansion is Paramatma. Athava bahu naitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishthabhyam idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. All the controlling deities like Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva are different manifestations of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who exhibits himself in such manners by entering into each and every universe generated from him. So we know that Krishna, he enters, the Kshirodakshayi Vishnu is entering into each and every atom of the universe. And from Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, all the incarnations of the Lord appear. So here is, and he's the Paramatma, the Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. And so it's mentioned that Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva are all different manifestations of the Paramatma. But still, apparently, there are divisions of the controller and controlled. For example, in the food controlling department, the controller of food is a person made of the same ingredients as the person who is controlled. So it's just a different position that somebody has. There is a food department person, they're saying, Prabhupada is saying there's a food controlling department. So the people are the same, but only the activities of the person is different. Similarly, and the responsibility is different. The authority of the person is different. So this is what Prabhupada is telling us here. Similarly, each and every individual in the material world is controlled by the higher demigods. So even though the demigods and we are living entities, but the demigods are controlling us because they are higher authority. So we can see also, for example, when we are in school, so some of us are chosen as leaders. So although everybody is a student, but then there's some students which are chosen as leaders to control the other students the same way. So we cannot see, for example, we have our senses, but the senses are controlled by superior controlling deities. We cannot see without light, and the supreme controller of light is the sun. The sun god is in the sun planet, and we, the individual human beings or any other beings on this earth, are all controlled by the sun god as far as our eyes are concerned. So each of our senses is controlled by the demigod, a particular demigod. We are thinking, oh, I'm just want to blink my eyes so I can immediately blink it. But there is a particular demigod in charge of this function. Similarly, as the sun, without the sun, we wouldn't be able to see anything. So our eyes to see something is dependent on the presence of the sun. So we are under the control of the sun to see something. Similarly, all the senses we have are controlled by the superior demigods, who are also as much living entities as we are, but one is empowered while the other is controlled. The controlled living entity is called the Adhyatmic person, and the controller is called the Adidevic person. So we, the ordinary living entities, we are called Adhyatmic, and the demigods, because they're controlling us, they are called the Adidevic persons. All these positions in the material world are due to different fruitive activities. Any individual living being can become the sun god or even Brahma or any other god in the upper planetary system by a higher grade of pious work. And similarly, one becomes controlled by the higher demigods by lower grades of fruitive activities. So we can see how in the school also why certain students are chosen as leaders, because they are able to work in a better way. They are more disciplined and their grades are higher, they're studying more. And so that's why they are chosen to control the other students who may be naughty, who may be not doing their homework well. So similarly, if we want to become demigods, we can also become demigods. We can become Lord Brahma also, because Lord Brahma is a position, it's a post, it's not a person. There's a person occupying the position of Lord Brahma. So anybody can become Lord Brahma, provided we get the qualification, the necessary qualification, or even sun god. If we desire so, we can become the sun god. But we should not desire to become one of these demigods. Why? Because even the demigods, their position in that post is temporary. You know, after how many ever years they are supposed to live, say Lord Brahma lives his own 100 years. After that 100 years, he also has to die. So every individual living entity is subject to the supreme control of the Paramatma, who puts everyone in different positions of the controller and the controlled. So even though we are being controlled by the demigods, so we and the demigods are being controlled by the Paramatma. Everyone is under the control of the Paramatma. That's the reason we should try to become directly under the control of the Paramatma, connect ourselves to Krishna. That which distinguishes the controller and the control, that is the material body, is called the Adhibhautik Purusha. The body is sometimes called Purusha, as confirmed in the Vedas in the following hymns. Sarva Esha Purusho Anna Rasamayaha. This body is called the Anna Rasa embodiment. This body depends on food. So this body, we have this material body. This is Adhibhautik. It's called Adhibhautik. This body depends on food. The living entity, which is embodied, does not eat anything. However, because the owner is spirit in essence. So it's actually our body which is needing the food. The soul, the soul who are inside the body, we don't need this food. But to maintain the body, we have to eat this food. The soul doesn't eat it. It's the body that's eating it. The food goes to the stomach, it goes to all the different, the esophagus, and then the digestive tract. So it doesn't touch the soul at all. Isn't it interesting? We always say, I'm eating, but here it's clearly shown, no, you're separate from the body, you're not eating, you're the soul. The material body requires replacement of matter for the wearing and tearing of the mechanical body. Therefore, the distinction between the individual living entity and controlling planetary deities is in the
Sorry, I just wanted to ask one thing. But when we say that जैसा अन्न वैसा मन, जैसा अन्न आप खाते हो वैसा आपके विचार होते हैं, then how it is not touching the food?
It affects the consciousness, right? Man means mind, right?
Oh yeah, not the soul.
It's affecting the consciousness, of course. It does affect the consciousness. Yes.
Okay. So it's affecting our desires.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Like what we are thinking, what we are wanting, what we are willing, like if we eat the prasadam, then that affects that, right?
Yes, it purifies our consciousness.
It purifies, not the soul. It has nothing to do with the soul.
Actually, the soul, we are always pure. But what has happened is because we are thinking we are the body, that is our covering, that our thinking that I am not the soul, that I'm the body. That is the wrong consciousness. So that is the dirt we have to remove.
They say we are called conditioned, soul, because we are covered by the false ego and
yes, that's correct.
So then the food is only impacting our subtle body and the gross body, both.
Yes.
Because the subtle body is the man, buddhi and ahankar. So it is impacting both the subtle and the gross, but not the soul itself, just the coverings.
Yeah, that's right. When we eat prasad, then the subtle body also gets purified. The mind, as you just said, jaisa an vaisa man, right? So the mind is a subtle body. And so when we are eating prasad, our
thoughts become better, I think.
Yes, our desires get purified. And because it is transcendental, because this is spiritual food, we, the soul, also feel happy. Same as when we are hearing and chanting. We are hearing, right, through the ears, but the soul is feeling happy. It's going up to the soul because it is spiritual. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. The sun may have a gigantic body and the man may have a smaller body, but all these visible bodies are made of matter. Nonetheless, the sun god and the individual person who are related as the controller and the controlled are the same spiritual parts and parcels of the Supreme Being. And it is the Supreme Being who places different parts and parcels in different positions. So again, we can say the same example that Some students is a leader in the class, and some students are being controlled by the leader, and the leader is appointed by the teacher. So the teacher is controlling both the leader and the other students. The leader is also under the control of the teacher. The leader can't say, oh, now because I'm a leader, I don't care about the teacher. The teacher will immediately remove him from the position of the leader. And thus the conclusion is that the Supreme Person is the shelter of all. So whoever we may be, a demigod or an ordinary living entity, we are under the control of the Supreme Lord.
So here that means the sun god is the Adi Devi, correct? And the living entity is Adhyatmic.
That's right.
Okay.
And the body is the Adi Bhautik.
Adi is the Adi.
Yes, yes. So text 9. Ekam ekatara bhave yada nopalabhamahe tritayam tatra yo veda sa atma swashrayashrayah. All three of the above mentioned stages of different living entities are interdependent. In the absence of one, another is not understood, but the Supreme Being, who sees every one of them as the shelter of the shelter, is independent of all, and therefore is the supreme shelter. There are innumerable living entities, one dependent on the other in the relationship of the controlled and the controller. But without the medium of perception, no one can know or understand who is the controlled and who is the controller. For example, the sun controls the power of our vision. We can see the sun because the sun has its body, and the sunlight is useful only because we have eyes. Without our having eyes, the sunlight is useless. And without sunlight, the eyes are useless. Thus, they are interdependent, and none of them is independent. And Prabhupada puts things so nicely. Huh? I never thought of it. If we don't have eyes, then to us, the sunlight is useless. And because we have eyes, then that's how the sunlight is full of meaning, and we need it. Then we need the sunlight. So thus they are interdependent, and none of them is independent. Therefore, the natural question arises concerning who made them interdependent. The one who has made such a relationship of interdependence must be ultimately completely independent. As stated in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the ultimate source of all interdependent objectives is the complete independent subject. So this is also a subject, or is also in the Isopanishad, that the Supreme Lord, He is the complete whole, and from Him all complete units are being created. And yet He is complete in Himself. He is not dependent on anything. He doesn't need the sun to see. He doesn't have this material eyes, you know. He's the Supreme Lord, He's complete. He has spiritual eyes. So, as stated in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the ultimate source of all interdependent objectives is the complete independent subject. This ultimate source of all interdependence is the Supreme Truth, or Paramatma, the Super Soul, who is not dependent on anything else. He is Swashrayashrayah. He is only dependent on His self, and thus He is the supreme shelter of everything. We don't realize, we think we are the controller, but we are dependent on so many factors. As we are just reading, that we are dependent on the sun to see. We are dependent on the food, so our body can be maintained. We are dependent on the air. If we didn't have air, we wouldn't be able to breathe. So each of us is interdependent, but it's only the Supreme Lord that He Himself, He has everything that He needs. He doesn't need anything external. He's full in Himself, nothing external. So although Paramatma and Brahman are subordinate to Bhagwan, because Bhagwan is Purushottam or the super person, he is the source of the super soul also. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.18, Lord Krishna says that he is the Purushottam and the source of everything. And thus it is concluded that Sri Krishna is the ultimate source and shelter of all living entities, including the super soul and Supreme Brahman. Even accepting that there is no difference between the super soul and the individual soul is dependent on the super soul for being liberated from the illusion of material energy. The individual is under the clutches of illusory energy, and therefore, although qualitatively one with the super soul, he is under the illusion of identifying himself with matter. And to get out of this illusory conception of factual life, the individual soul has to depend on the super soul to be recognized as one with him. In that sense also, the super soul is the supreme shelter, and there is no doubt about it. Now, we are all thinking that we are the body. We are not able to understand that, hey, I'm actually Satchidananda. I am not this body of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. I'm totally different than this body. To get, and Krishna, he's the Paramatma in our heart. Super soul is Paramatma. And he says that all our remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness comes from him. So for us to understand that we are not the body, that we are the soul, we are dependent on the super soul. We are dependent on the Paramatma, whether we accept it or no. You know, even though we are, the Paramatma is Satchidananda, we are Satchidananda, we have to accept that we are not as great as the Paramatma. We are still dependent on him, that he is greater than us. Because if he does not give us the understanding and the remembrance, we will still continue to think we are the body, and we'll behave that we are the body, and we'll continue to live in this material world. We won't be able to get out of the material world. The individual living entity, the jiva, is always dependent on the super soul Paramatma, because the individual soul forgets his spiritual identity, whereas the super soul Paramatma does not forget his transcendental position. In the Bhagavad Gita, the separate positions of the Jivatma and the Paramatma are specifically mentioned. In the 4th chapter, Arjuna, the Jiva soul, is represented as forgetful of his many, many previous births. But the Lord, the super soul, is not forgetful. The Lord even remembers when he taught the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god some billions of years before. The Lord can remember such millions and billions of years, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.26 as follows. So Krishna never forgets. We forget what we did at the same time, exact that moment what we were speaking. We can't remember that. But Krishna can remember what he spoke billions of years ago. You know? So he never forgets. So there is such a big difference. So how can we say that we and the Paramatma are on the same level? We cannot say that. There is a clear difference here. Vedaham samatitane vartamanani charjana bhavashyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. The Lord, in his eternal blissful body of knowledge, is fully aware of all that happened in the past, that which is going on at the present, and also what will happen in the future. But in spite of his being the shelter of both the Paramatma and Brahman, persons with a poor fund of knowledge are unable to understand him as he is. So Sri Krishna, the Shyam Sundar Krishna, he is shelter of Paramatma and Brahman, because the Brahman is the light coming from his body and Paramatma is his expansion. So he's the original person, and from him is coming the expansion of Paramatma, from him is coming Brahman. But the less intelligent person are not able to understand this. And Sri Krishna is saying he has his eternal, his body is Satchidananda, eternal blissful body of knowledge, Satchidananda. And he knows what happened in the past, present, and future. He knows. So Krishna is Satchidananda. We are Satchidananda. But Krishna is the source of Paramatma and Brahman. We are not the source of Paramatma and Brahman. You know, there is not that light coming from our body. No, there isn't. So we are not Krishna. We are not God. Only Krishna is God. We are not expanding in somebody's heart as Paramatma. We cannot know exactly what a person is thinking, what he's desiring, how to fulfill his desires. No, we cannot. We can just know what's happening in our own body. That's all. We are not conscious of another body. The propaganda of the identity of cosmic consciousness with the consciousness of the individual living entities is completely misleading, because even such a person or individual soul as Arjuna could not remember his past deeds, although he is always with the Lord. And what can the tiny ordinary man, falsely claiming to be one with cosmic consciousness, know about his past, present, and future? So we are not Paramatma. We cannot know. Although Krishna told Arjuna that millions of years ago, you were also with me that time when I spoke the Bhagavad Gita. But Arjuna couldn't understand. He couldn't remember. We are like that. If Arjuna couldn't remember, what can we do? How, you know, we are just ordinary living entities here. So if we say that I am one with the universe, I am Paramatma, no, that's totally wrong. We are just tiny, tiny jivas. And what we need to do is purify our consciousness, understand that we are eternal parts and parcels of Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. That's all we have to do, hear and chant. And that's our perfection. Any questions or comments?
No, clear.
Okay.
It's clear.
Okay. Thank you. I thought this was a technical verse, so might need some. So let's see, shall we stop here, because the other verse is quite long.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki Pad ki jai, Gaura Govinda ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna.
for joining in today.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.